In a mystical forest where emerald leaves whispered ancient secrets and sunlight danced upon crystal streams, a vibrant community of dragons thrived. This forest was no ordinary place. It was a realm woven with magic, where the air shimmered with enchantment. Each dragon possessed unique traits, with scales that glimmered in hues of ruby, sapphire, and emerald. The dragons lived in harmony, guided by the belief that their differences made them stronger, and they revered the lush greenery that cradled their world. The heart of the forest was a vast clearing surrounded by towering trees, their trunks thick with age and their branches forming a natural cathedral. Here, the dragons gathered under the watchful gaze of the elder dragon, Celestia, whose scales shimmered like silver starlight. She was wise and ancient, a keeper of the forest's history and its most powerful magic. Celestia often spoke of unity and the importance of their bonds, reminding them that their strength lay in their ability to stand together. As seasons changed, a sense of unease crept into the forest. Whispers among the trees grew louder, carrying tales of a monstrous beast that roamed beyond their borders. This creature, known as the Shadow Wyrm, was a harbinger of chaos and destruction. Its scales were like molten rock, and its breath scorched the land, leaving nothing but ashes in its wake. The neighboring realms trembled at its approach, and word reached the dragons of the forest, instilling fear in their hearts. Celestia sensed the shifting tides. One night, as the moon hung low and bright, she called for a gathering in the clearing. The dragons assembled, their vibrant colors a stark contrast to the darkness of the approaching threat. Tension filled the air, and murmurs of concern echoed among them. Some dragons suggested they fortify their territories, preparing for the inevitable clash, while others argued for a united front. As the elder dragon took her place in the center, silence fell over the gathering. Celestia's voice was calm yet powerful, resonating through the trees. She spoke of their ancestors, legendary dragons who had faced darkness together. She reminded them of the bonds they had formed and the trust they had built. Her words carried the weight of wisdom, urging them to remember that together they were a force to be reckoned with. With the elders' encouragement, the dragons began to share their fears and strategies. The fiery reds spoke of their strength in battle, while the tranquil blues discussed their mastery of the skies. The earthy greens shared their knowledge of the forest, reminding everyone of the hidden paths and the power of nature. As they exchanged ideas, something remarkable happened. Their old rivalries began to dissolve, replaced by a sense of camaraderie and purpose. Days turned into nights as the dragons trained under Celestia's watchful eye. They practiced their skills, weaving their powers together like a tapestry of strength. The reds learned to harness their flames in harmony with the blues' icy breath, creating dazzling displays of steam that would confuse any adversary. The greens taught them how to navigate the dense foliage, using their agility to evade attacks and strike from unexpected angles. During this time, the bonds among the clans deepened. They shared meals, laughter, and stories of bravery, slowly erasing the scars of past conflicts. The once divided dragons found joy in their shared experiences, discovering that their differences were not a hindrance, but a wellspring of creativity and strength. As the days passed, the shadow of the Shadow Wyrm loomed ever closer. The dragons felt the tension building, and their training intensified. Celestia urged them to remain focused, reminding them of the stakes involved. They were not just fighting for themselves, they were protecting their home, their families, and the very essence of their existence. On the eve of the confrontation, the sky darkened as storm clouds gathered, mirroring the apprehension in the hearts of the dragons. They gathered once more in the clearing, their vibrant scales glimmering dimly in the muted light. Celestia spoke softly, reminding them that the strength of their hearts would guide them through the darkness. She encouraged them to find solace in one another, to remember that they were not alone in this battle. As dawn broke, the dragons took to the skies, their hearts pounding with a mix of fear and determination. They flew in formation, a breathtaking display of color against the gray backdrop of the storm. The forest below buzzed with life, unaware of the impending clash. The air crackled with tension as they approached the lair of the Shadow Wyrm, a dark cavern shrouded in ominous mist. The moment they crossed the threshold, the beast emerged, its eyes glowing like molten embers. A roar erupted from its throat, sending shockwaves through the air. The ground trembled beneath the dragon's feet, but they stood their ground, united in purpose. The initial shock of the encounter ignited their instincts, and they launched into action. The battle began in a whirlwind of color and chaos. The Reds breathed fire, creating a barrier of flames that danced around the beast. The Blues swooped in, unleashing blasts of icy wind to cool the scorching heat, while the Greens darted through the shadows, using their agility to strike at the beast's vulnerable spots. For every attack the Shadow Wyrm unleashed, the dragons responded with coordination and grace. As the battle raged on, it became clear that the Shadow Wyrm was powerful, drawing energy from the darkness itself. The dragons found themselves pushed to their limits, their strength waning as the beast fought back fiercely. It clawed and roared, creating shockwaves that sent the dragons tumbling through the air. In a moment of desperation, Celestia realized that they needed to combine their powers in a way they had not yet attempted. She called upon the collective strength of the clans, urging them to channel their magic together. The dragons formed a circle, their scales glowing brighter as they focused their energies. In that moment of unity, the forest itself responded. Vines wrapped around the dragons, and the trees seemed to lean in, lending their strength to the battle. The air filled with a radiant light as the dragons released a wave of magic, intertwining their powers in a brilliant display of color and strength. The Shadow Wyrm faltered, caught off guard by the surge of energy. The dragons pressed their advantage, combining their fiery breaths and icy blasts in a dazzling explosion of light. With one final, united strike, they unleashed their magic upon the beast, overwhelming it with their combined strength. As the light faded, the Shadow Wyrm roared one last time before retreating into the darkness, its power diminished. The dragons, weary yet triumphant, gathered in the clearing once more. They had faced their fears and emerged victorious, proving that unity was their greatest weapon. In the aftermath, the forest buzzed with renewed life. The dragons celebrated their victory, their laughter echoing through the trees. Celestia spoke of their bravery, reminding them that their strength lay not just in their individual abilities, but in their willingness to come together. The bonds they had forged during the battle would serve as a foundation for a brighter future. From that day forward, the dragons vowed to remain united, protecting their home from any threat that might arise. They held regular gatherings to celebrate their unity, sharing stories of their adventures and nurturing the friendships that had blossomed in the heat of battle. The forest thrived, a sanctuary of peace and strength, forever marked by the struggles they had faced. As seasons turned, the dragons learned to balance vigilance with joy. They danced through the skies, their vibrant colors a testament to their resilience. The mystical forest became a place where harmony reigned, not just among the dragons but within the very fabric of the land itself. And so, the legacy of the dragons lived on, a story of bravery, unity, and the relentless pursuit of peace, echoing through the ages as a reminder that true strength lies in standing together. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. And for more fun stories, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. See you next time.